Hey, so in this video, I'll be teaching you how to get going or get your students going on Soundtrap and using that as a tool for creating either podcasts or music or soundscapes or whatever it is that you want to create. I've broken this video into three different parts: a beginner section, an intermediate, and advanced section. And you can either watch the whole thing or just stick with the section that you think fits you and think about how confident you are in your students' abilities to really use the full potential of this program. And you can use the chapter markers down below on this video to skip to each of those sections if you just want to watch a particular part or learn a particular skill. So in the beginner section, I'll be covering what a DAW is, how to log in with Google, how to add tracks, how to record voices, and how to access the loop library and collaborate with others. Then in the intermediate section, I will be looking at how to split and edit audio that's been recorded, how to add your own sounds or record parts using your device and nothing else, and how to use some microphone presets to just hit a button and make your voice sound better in 1 or 2 clicks. And then in the advanced section, I'll look at how to remove background noise from a voice recording and how to use an audio interface or USB microphone with Soundtrap. So skip along if you want to, or just watch the whole thing. And so I'll kick off with the beginner section. So a DAW software or a digital audio workstation is a tool that's been developed recently, and there's so many out there now, but very few do what Soundtrap does. Soundtrap is a completely web-based digital audio workstation, and you're able to collaborate and share with other people, all using Google Chrome or another modern browsing tool. So let's have a look at it and log in with Google. So when you or your students first go to Soundtrap, just type into Google Soundtrap and you come up with something like this. If you are wanting to connect with your students, sign up with your school email address and your students can do the same, and that will allow you to connect because you are on the same network. It's one of the filters that Soundtrap has to help people stay within their own organizations and not be collaborating with just anybody. Of course, that feature is available, so make sure you encourage students to be very explicit when you're getting them to connect using email addresses. So once you've signed in with Google, it will take you to your home page and it will look something like this, or a little different depending on what device you're using this program on. Now, if you want to get started and jump straight into a studio, you can click on Enter Studio and it'll take you to your main page. If you've already got some other things in the works like I have, you can click on the Studio button to go back into projects you've already been working on. So I'm going to hit Enter Studio to show you what it looks like. So when you start a new piece, you get the option straight away to go music or podcast. And depending on which one you pick, Soundtrap will automatically adjust some of your volumes and mix the whatever you've created so that it fits in with this sort of medium. So I'm going to click on music for this example, but it doesn't really have any effect or change the layout of this program when we look at it now. All right, so the first thing you probably want to do is add a track, so get some music going in here. So let's say we want to add a voice track first, so we'll click on Add a Track, and we get all these options. So I'm going to click on Voice and Microphone to add a recording of my voice. All right, let me hit Go on this, and I'll just record a bit of voice here with my computer microphone. Get a nice countdown. Hello, testing. This is using Soundtrap tutorial 1.0147. All right, and now you can see that I have my voice recorded here, and I've just used my laptop microphone to record that, and I can go back by dragging this at the top to have a listen to it, and if I'm not happy, I can delete and do those sorts of things. Now, you probably want to add some other things such as some clips that you've downloaded from YouTube or some other audio that you want to add if you're creating a narrative, a soundscape, or something such as that. So I'm going to just drag in. I've got a file open above me that you can't see, and I'm just going to drag and drop in this. This is a bass part that I recorded the other day, and I'm just going to drop it. I could drop it on the same line as what I've recorded, or I can drop it anywhere else in the project, and it will just import it there and give me the track. I've got that. If I only want a little bit of it, then I can adjust the length of the track to whatever I want it to be. I can copy and paste and do those sorts of things, but I'll cover those later in the video. And so next thing, if we want to add a already recorded or a loop from the library, we can go over to the little music icon, the quavers over in here, and we get to the loop library. And there's a bunch of filters. So if you hit one of these, such as originals, it'll bring up things in the original filter. So I've clicked on this hi-hat one and it goes straight in. If I wanted it in a different spot, I could click and drag and use it. You notice some of them say start free premium trial. You just have to look for the ones that don't say that, and you can drag and drop them in. One thing to be mindful of when using the loop library is if you click on originals and then hip hop, it will filter your search to original hip hop and then drums, bass, etc. Until it gets a really fine search. So if you want something different, you have to refresh the search there. Underneath this loops button, we have these little people, and this is really important. This is where we can invite other people to join our project. If you were doing this remotely in a remote setting, you could use the call function, and you can call people and record the conversation or performance in Soundtrap itself in live time, which is really cool, but it only works for one other guest, so 2 people in total. So if I want to collaborate with other people, I'll hit the invite others, and it will let me insert the email address of the people that I would like to collaborate with, and then I hit invite. You might also have this share via link button down below. If not, you can just type in the email address of the person you want to connect with, and they'll get an email that notifies them that, hey, somebody wants to connect with you. Then they can open this up and edit the music as well. Lastly, it's important to note that if you are editing the same piece of music, you can't do it at the same time. It's like a Google Doc in that it automatically saves. You can see this button up here is saving all the time as I go, so I can exit whenever I feel like it. But if 2 people are trying to edit the same project, then it won't save both things that are happening. You can only work on it one person at a time. One of the most useful things that you could do when you're using a digital audio workstation is to cut and edit things that you've recorded. So let's say you've recorded a part and you misspoke and you wanted to delete your error, or you played a wrong note, you want to delete that note and fix up the piece of audio. So you can see here we've got these lines, and these lines represent the WAV file. If I use my magnifying glass in the corner, I can zoom right in and see what the true raw wave would look like. And this is really useful, so we can look at where either a note starts, like this we've got some notes in this tune down below, or when a word or a sentence may have started. Now, if I want to go and let's say I wasn't happy with this wave here, this word that I've said, I misspoke or stuttered or something, I can go in and I can press Control E once I've selected the track. See how it's gone to dark red? Control E, and it will split the audio at wherever the playhead, which is this purple cursor here. And I'm going to go to where the end of the note looks like it stops. It looks like the audio is tailing away, getting smaller, stopping there. Control E, once I've selected it, goes the darker red. Control E, and then I can go ahead and delete that. Then let's say that you've in this gap, you didn't want it to just be nothing. You can then just click and drag your parts till it matches up. Let's say that you wanted a different word there. Let's say that in here you were meant to have one word and you said it wrong, but it was too late to fix it. You have to go back and find the word somewhere else in your recording. I'm going to pretend that I wanted the word work there, and I'm going to pretend that this wave file here, this wave, is the word work. So I'm going to press Control E at the start of the wave, Control E at the end of the wave. Once I've selected it, got to click on it first. And then I'm going to right click, copy, click where I want it, and paste it in there. Now I have, if you match it up really nicely, it'll sound like you've just spoken perfectly, hadn't made any mistakes. And so you can do that with music, you can do it with audio. You can also do it with these other parts that you may have dropped in as loops or other sounds. So I covered it earlier in the video that you can add your own recording of your voice. You can drag in loops such as this bass track that I did, or you can use the loop library. But what if you want to record some music while you're in this program? Well, very easy to do, which is awesome. So we just add a new track and then we use whatever the instrument we want. I'm going to click on the synthesizer for this one, and you'll see straight away this keyboard comes up on my screen. The letters that are here I can click on and use those with my computer keyboard, or if I had a touch device, I could just play it right on the screen. So I've got this Leeds flutter wave instrument. I'm going to click on this one called Light Weather because I was after something that sounded weathery and maybe spooky. Now I'll press the V key and you'll hear what I can do with this. There we go, some sounds. I could play around with those if I wanted to add that recording. If I want to record, all I need to do is make sure that I have this R highlighted. I don't want to record over this track, so I highlight the R here, and then I'm going to hit this record button down the bottom. It will count in 2 bars, and then I can
Hello, testing.
Go ahead.
This is using Soundtrap 1.0.
and do a bit of recording, and press space as a quick way to stop that recording of whatever I wanted to create just there. Now, the last thing I'll talk about in this section of the video is mic presets. So I'm going to go over here and click on my microphone icon, and it brings up what I have installed already, or what Soundtrap has decided that it should use to make my voice sound as good as it possibly can. Because I was using my computer mic, it automatically went, I would like to enhance it, so I've got this computer mic enhancer. If I click on that, I get to go through all these other different voice effects, such as podcast, and when I click on that, it will change my voice so that it sounds more like I was on a podcast. I've also got these other things that I can do: pan left to right, change the volume, and add some reverb, that sort of echoey sound if I wanted to sound like I'm in a bigger room. If this is the first time you've used something like a preset, just click through and have a listen to each of these and how they sound, and see if it's how you want your voice to sound. Alright, now I'll get into some of the more advanced things that you can do in this program. So one of the most useful tools and tricks to learn about once you get into the advanced side of recording audio is how to use an equalizer. Now this is particularly useful if you're using this in a classroom setting and you want to get rid of that background noise, or there might be like a hum from an air conditioner or something and you want to remove it. Now Soundtrap doesn't have a tool that you just click and it does it for you, unfortunately, but from what I've read online, it looks like it's something they're working on, so maybe that'll happen one day. So I've just talked about presets, and I've still got my voice podcast preset selected here. I could choose other ones if I want, but right now I'm happy with that. If I click over on effects, I get a few more controls. For one, I can see that it's already added a parametric EQ and a dynamic compressor, which just enhance my voice a little bit. I also can add an effect. So if you want to remove that background noise, the best way you can do it is by adding an effect and clicking on this equalizer just here. Then, as you are listening to your audio being played back, you then drag these sliders up and down one at a time from the low frequencies to the high frequencies to try and isolate or fix in on what frequency that background noise is. If the background noise is something like a vacuum cleaner, it's probably going to be up in this high area. If it's a hum from an air conditioner, it might be in the low area. But like I said, just go in and pick one, go all the way up to see if it gets louder, all the way down, see if it gets quieter. If you notice it gets quieter, you might like to try the other ones near it to see if they help, and create a little scoop such as that to remove those sorts of frequencies. The other thing that you can do is, after you've gone, okay, I can see that this slider will remove that background noise, you might also notice that this slider seems to be where most of the vocal range is falling, and you want to enhance the voice as a way of removing that background noise as well. So you might move that up just a few notches. So that's how to use that equalizer to remove the background noise. And now the last thing I'll show you is how to record using an audio interface. I won't go into how to use the interfaces themselves. I'll do that in another video later on, so you can watch that one if you would like to learn more about that in Soundtrap. But just for now, I've got my audio interface just with me here. They all look a little bit different depending on the brand. Mine's a Presonus Audio Studio 24C. They all have things like some different dials to control the level of input, and they've got 1 or 2 mic inputs. So box like these, which you've probably got a microphone plugged into, or possibly you're recording with a studio microphone, and you want to make sure that the sound being recorded in Soundtrap is coming from that, then this is what you do. So when you have added your new track, which is a microphone that you're recording from, here it is, and we've clicked on it to make sure we've got it all loaded up. You'll see that just above the start recording section here is a little drop down, and you can choose which microphone you want to be recording with. Now my Studio 24C comes up, I can click on that there, or I'm recording with my Yeti microphone now, so I'd click on that one and the audio would be coming in. The really cool thing that Soundtrap does, which I don't know other programs to do, is it automatically adjusts the gain on your voice to get the best sound that it can. If you click on this button here, it does a volume check. You hit start test and it will try to read your voice and adjust the volume for you so that it balances with the rest of the mix. So the last thing you want to do after you've done this, there's a save button up the top, hit save, and it will save the project and create a mix for you. Once this icon that says mixing is gone, then you can click on File, Export, MP3, and it will download your project for you. If you hit MP3 while it still says mixing, it will just say, come back, try again soon, have a coffee, have a break, and then give it another go. And that will give you your complete audio file from start to finish, and that will be everything that you've done. So there you go. I hope this video has been helpful to you. Please message me or comment below if you have any more questions, and hopefully you'll enjoy the next video that I make on how to use the Focusrite in Studio One with your students. Thanks so much, and have a great day. Bye.